Battle Through the Heavens God, the Flame Emperor Chapter 331, Go to the Suan Ling royal family. Cough, cough. A few violent coughing sounds also came slowly. Obviously, the dispersal of the clone also caused a lot of backlash on King Suan Ling. I didn't expect this bamboo elder to survive the terrifying explosion, and its strength is so terrifying. If I let this go on, it will inevitably become a big worry in my plan in the future. Among the Suan Ling royal family, in the most luxurious hall in the imperial city, a figure slowly opened his eyes, and then said, at the entrance of the main hall, the three resplendent big characters of Jingluan Hall are also slowly hanging on it. In the hall, it is also resplendent, and there are some steps in the hall, slowly moving towards a throne at the commanding heights of the hall. At this moment on the throne, a man wearing expensive clothes slowly opened his eyes. There were only two people in the hall at this time. One person is King Suan Ling sitting on the throne. As for the other person, he was sitting beside the throne, quietly and silently, and then holding a binjio fan. His whole body revealed an air of elegance and wisdom, and at a glance, he knew that it must be the celebrity beside Suan Ling King. He looked at Suan Ling King gently. King, you have to pay attention to your body. Such a long-distance avatar crossing is also extremely exhausting. The handsome man with a feather fan beside him also said slowly, I didn't expect that the invincible god of war in the burning incense pavilion, Zhu Jin, didn't die. This is really beyond my expectations. King Suan Ling also opened his eyes, then glanced at the figure next to him, and said, there was obviously some reproach in his voice. How can it be that Zhu Jin is not dead? The man beside Xianling King heard the words, his pupils shrank. And what made him even more incredible was that the Suan Ling King in front of him actually glared at him. King Suan Ling is now the ruler of the royal family of Suan Ling, and Wen Ziyi also knows that although he is the confidant of King Suan Ling, it is inevitable that King Suan Ling has other thoughts. After all, no matter what, the siege and suppression of the undefeated god of war, Zhu Jin, was planned by King Suan Ling and controlled by Wen Ziyi. I remember that 100 years ago, King Suan Ling was beaten by Zhu Jin and fled, so he was hated by King Suan Ling, so he was encircled and suppressed 100 years ago. Even if King Suan Ling didn't take part in the siege, he knew about the huge lineup. A 9-star Dodi and 2 8-star Dodi surrounded this bamboo elder. At that time, Zhu Jin's strength was not even reached by the 8-star Dodi. How could such a terrifying lineup fail? Moreover, King Suan Ling was also quite depressed. The three who were dispatched at the beginning were members of their Suan Ling royal family, and they have not returned until now. Wen Ziyi, you say, what should this matter be? King Suan Ling also looked at Wen Ziyi with a smile and said, by now, this matter can only be pushed to Solomon. The top priority is Wang, your breakthrough in Dosian. Wen Ziyi also laughed, then walked to King Suan Ling's side and whispered a few words to him. Is this true? King Suan Ling's scolding expression just now disappeared after Wen Ziyi's whisper. At this time, there was also an extremely fiery wave in King Suan Ling's pupils. Then send an order to Solomon and ask them to send someone to encircle and suppress this bamboo elder. Otherwise, this burning incense pavilion will have this bamboo elder in charge. When the sect competition comes, their plans for Solomon and the ghost world will not be successful. In addition, it is said that this Zhu Jin only has the strength to just set foot on the 9-star Dode. King Suan Ling also smiled slowly. The snipe and the clam compete for the fisherman's profit. My king. Suan Ling. Wen Ziyi also smiled slowly, and then retreated. The power of holy flame. The power of the 9-colored swallowing python. It's all mine. King Suan Ling also said slowly. In the burning incense pavilion, Lao Zhu ended the battle with King Suan Ling's clone, and took Xiaoyan and the three to the Suan Ling royal family. Although most of the Suan 3 days area was forbidden. With Zhu Lao's strength and status, naturally also use the space channel, which is also a good solution to this problem. Inside the space tunnel, Xiaoyan and the others didn't say much, because they all found out that this old Zhu had just been thinking about something since he fought against the clone of King Suan Ling. Outside the burning heaven territory, a rather delicate-looking girl slowly appeared. What? Isn't this the breath of old bamboo? Why haven't we met? Secretly went to find that Xiaoyan who had obtained the 10th rank Do Emperor. Can find it. I just happened to encounter such a fierce battle, and I missed it. The girl also complained, looking at the space outside the burning heaven territory, and said, "Hehe, you girl, the sect competition is imminent. So hurry up and cultivate. I know I'm playful." A loving voice also slowly appeared outside the burning heaven territory. There was no reproach in the voice, but only slow love. "Daddy, just let me go out and play. Staying in this burning incense pavilion every day makes me suffocated." After the girl finished speaking, she also rolled up the man's sleeves with both hands, and her big watery eyes were full of coquettish taste. "Hehe, I will let you out, but not now. Wait until Elder Zhu brings the three of them back and cultivate for a while, and the competition within the sect is over." The man also spoke slowly. "It's a promise." The girl was also extremely happy, and the next moment she returned to the burning incense pavilion and disappeared without a trace. "Hey, it's really not a good girl to stay. The man is actually Lu Ping, the deputy chief of the Heaven Temple. Hehe, I really envy you for having such a daughter." Mu Suze also appeared slowly, and then glanced at the delicate girl who disappeared without a trace. What's there to be envious of? This girl knows that she is playful all day long. If it weren't for play, her current strength would have reached that level. Lu Ping, the deputy head of the Heaven Temple, was also furious, but Mu Suze also knew that this was just a father of sternness. The outside world is not very peaceful. When this girl goes out with this kind of temperament, she is also terrified. Mu Suze also shook his head worriedly. Indeed, the outside world is no better than our burning incense pavilion. In the burning incense pavilion, she is a well-deserved little princess and has many brothers and sisters to help her, but if she goes out, I don't know if she can stand this slump. At this moment, Lu Ping still had a bit of majesty as a strong man, and some of it was just a father's worry about his daughter. But you can rest assured, after staying for a long time, things in the sect have been resolved. Let the people in the 3 halls go out together, so that we can take care of them. Mu Suze also said slowly, "Your human palace seems to have found a treasure this time. Xiao Yan, this guy is actually favored by Elder Zhu." The palace master of the heavenly palace also spoke slowly. Hearing this, Mu Suze also laughed slowly, and then he didn't say much, looking at the sky outside the burning incense pavilion. Chapter 332, Suan Ling City. The most populous place on Suan Ling continent belongs to Suan 3 days, but the area of Suan 3 days is also quite vast. The northern part of Suan 3 day is the place where 9 major sects and many sects are stationed, and the 9 mountains, where the emperor's energy is extremely strong, is also here. As for the Suan Ling royal family, it is located in the middle of Suan 3 days. In order to resist the expansion and invasion of the Medusa family, the Suan Ling royal family has to invest a lot of manpower and material resources every year for defensive deployment. After all, the power of the Medusa family poison and some insidious means are hard to guard against. The east of Suan 3 days is an endless desert area, and many tributaries of the Medusa family are life again. Since the main body of the Medusa family is composed of snakes and scorpions, this also created their cold-blooded name. However, living in the extremely hot desert is definitely not a good thing for the Medusa family, which is why the Medusa family wants to attack the Suan Ling royal family. Because the Suan Ling royal family is located in the middle of Suan 3 days, if the Medusa clan in the east of Suan wants to expand their territory or relocate, they must go through the Suan Ling royal family, which has caused the situation between the two. As for the southern part of Suan 3 days, it is said to be the uninhabited 100,000 southern border, where there are many beautiful legends and unknown secrets. In the west of Suan 3 days, it is the world of magical beast. Shabu Shabu. The figures of 4 people in a row slowly emerged from a spot of light. "Follow me?" The old man who led the team also said slowly. "Yeah." The 3 people behind also responded at the same time. Taking a closer look, these people are the 3 and old bamboo who went to the Suan Ling royal family from the burning incense pavilion. The distance between the Suan Ling royal family in the middle and the northern sects is also constant, but with the strong man Zhu Lao, the journey of a day came to the Suan Ling royal family in a blink of an eye. "Is that the Suan Ling royal family?" Mu Yingying also spoke first, biting her lips slightly, and then what was reflected in her beautiful eyes was an extremely prosperous city. The undulating city walls of dozens of feet tightly surrounded the prosperous city, and even if they were separated by constant distances, they could vaguely feel some of the most obscure and powerful atmospheres in the city. The Suan Ling royal family is located in the middle of our Suan 3 days, and the towering city wall that stretches for tens of thousands of miles is also to resist the invasion of the Medusa family. Remember that. The Suan Ling royal family paid a considerable price to defend against the Medusa family. If it wasn't for them preventing the Medusa family in the middle of the Suan 3 days, we would be the ones who would suffer. Bamboo the old man also said slowly. The Medusa family. Why do you feel extremely uneasy? Xiao Yan heard the words and looked up at the location of the Medusa clan standing in the distance. For some unknown reason, it made Xiao Yan feel extremely uneasy. It's true that the Suan Ling royal family has been attacked by enemies before and after. Mu Feng's eyes kept turning, and he said. Mu Yingying, who was on the side, surprisingly changed into a colorful dress, showing her seductive figure perfectly. However, Mu Yingying didn't care about the words of Zhu Lao and Xiao Yan, and was quietly thinking about something. Strangeness. Something seems to be calling me here. Mu Yingying also raised her rather delicate jade neck, and stared at the city surrounded by walls of dozens of meters. Suan Ling City, the royal family of Suan Ling. The Suan Ling royal family lives in this Suan Ling City. Let's go. Elder Zhu also said slowly. The 4 of them followed, one after another, and then slowly walked towards the gate of Suan Ling City. Stop. Please show your identities. At the gate of the city, an entire army was stationed, and the well-trained soldiers were constantly walking back and forth, obviously heavily guarded, and then said to Elder Zhu and the others. Hearing this, Elder Zhu didn't hesitate too much. After all, the relationship between the Suan Ling royal family and the Medusa family made it reasonable to have a strict investigation. Then Zhu Lao flicked his fingers, and at the same time, a silver wooden sign with the 3 characters of Burning Incense Pavilion inscribed with dragons flying and phoenix dances slowly appeared in front of several soldiers, and then the next moment disappeared in a flash. This is, even if it just passed by in a flash, several people at the gate of the city knew the identity of the person in front of him. Those who can have this kind of token are all leaders among the sections. A real high rise? How dare they, these little soldiers, dare to be presumptuous? Sir, please. The next moment, the soldier stood at attention and slowly performed a standard etiquette towards old Zhu. The soldier maintained the proper etiquette, then made a gesture of invitation, respectfully facing old Zhu. The 3 of them are my students, so it's no problem, right? Zhu Lao also said indifferently. This. The soldiers at the city gate also hesitated. Although there is no doubt that this is the leader of the sect, but a token can only enter one person. After all, it is the predecessor of the Suan Ling royal family, Suan Ling City. Entering Suan Ling City is undoubtedly close to the Suan Ling royal family. If the Medusa family or some malicious people enter, and the royal family encounters an assassination plot, then it is the soldier's dereliction of duty. Even 10 lives are not enough for him to atone for his sins. But the soldier didn't dare to offend the old man in front of him, because the wooden sign that the old man had just displayed was the real high-level sectarian. Hihi, this elder came to our Suan Ling City and brought a few people into it. It's natural and reasonable. Please come this way. Just when the soldiers at the city gate were helpless, a hearty voice appeared slowly, with the figure of this armor covering the whole body and showing a pair of bright eyes. The soldiers at the city gate also seemed to be relieved. Tiger Teeth? Prep team leader? A 6-star Do-de level powerhouse? Head of the regiment. The soldier guarding the door also saw this familiar figure, and then slowly said, as if he wanted to say something, but was waved by the figure in front of him. Senior, go this way, the main entrance is a passage for ordinary people to enter. The officer also said slowly. Zhu Lao heard the words and led Xiao Yan and his group into another inconspicuous passage. These guys must be the people from the Burning Incense Pavilion who came to our Suan Ling Imperial family to soak the Suan Ling Imperial pond this time. The person called the head of the group also spoke slowly. You idiots. If you encounter a token from a sect-holding sect in the future, no matter how many people there are, just let it go. A character of that level is not something we can resist. After Hu Ya finished speaking, he also shook his head secretly. Obviously, the old people who took the lead just now, just from the breath, suppressed Huya too much. Huya, a 6-star Dodi, felt fear in the depths of his soul, and the strength of the Old man was probably quite tyrannical. A character of this level may only be handled by the old monsters in the royal family. In addition, strengthen the inspection efforts, and don't let any suspicious people go. I heard from the above that my king and the others will have a big move recently. Huya murmured. Chapter 333, Coincidence in the City. Elder Zhu took Xiaoyan and the three of them out of the inconspicuous passage, and what appeared in front of him was an extremely luxurious house. In the defense, there are extremely exquisite decorations and some tables gaps are readily available, and the most attractive is the woman in the house. Several adults, please wait a moment, the person who will receive you will be here soon. A sweet voice also appeared in the house slowly. After taking a closer look, it turned out to be a woman in uniform. A woman's uniform highlights her bumpy figure. Even if she is a certain age, her figure still remains. However, when the woman in uniform looked at Mu Yingying, there was a trace of envy in her beautiful eyes, which also flashed from the bottom of her heart. Because Mu Yingying is also wearing a colorful dress, but she is different. Although the two have extremely rare eyebrows, and the two are extremely slender, they are not the same. Mu Yingying is an indescribable beauty, as if she was born like a fairy. She is not tainted by the world, and the uniformed woman reveals a wildness all over her body, and at a glance, you can tell that she has been in such a place all year round. Although there was a little bit of envy, the determination to subdue the woman was fleeting, and the next moment was full of smiles. Immediately, he came to Zhu Lao's side, and then slightly raised the tea on the table with both hands, brewing tea for Zhu Lao, and said slowly, "Recently, the royal family of Suan Ling and the Medusa family are in a stalemate. How long will my king be leading the strong to fight against the Medusa family? I don't know why a few adults came here." The woman in uniform also said slowly, "Of course, some secret messages to Elder Zhu were inevitable. Little lady, it's better for you to know less. You go down." Elder Zhu also said slowly. Bang! The woman in uniform heard the words, and the tea set in her hand shattered instantly, because she felt an extremely powerful fluctuation from the voice of the old man just now. Even the depths of the soul are filled with fear from the bottom of her heart. This is an unprecedented event, and the uniformed woman also knows that this time, it seems that compared to those small shrimps in the past, it is undoubtedly a big mountain. This must be a big man. I'm sorry. The woman's concentration and eyesight did not show any displeasure. She quickly packed up the broken tea set, and then slowly left the house. Shameless. Mu Yingying also said in a low voice the moment she subdued the woman and went out. Obviously, with Mu Yingying's temperament, she is also quite disgusted by this kind of woman. This woman is really... Mu Feng also shook his head. Obviously, he has dealt with ghosts all year round, and he has little research on people, but what the uniformed woman Mingli Ali showed before was almost the kind of filth. Transactions in general. This woman's identity should not be low here. And looking at the familiar technique and tone of voice just now, if you didn't have some background, you wouldn't be here for so long. Xiao Yan also said thoughtfully, obviously what the subdued woman just did. Xiao Yan also relied on the powerful I found some clues with the soul power of ordinary people. Old Zhu also turned his eyes slightly, and it was obvious that the three people's minds were also in his sight. Bang bang bang. Just as the woman in uniform walked out with her front feet, she walked in a man. The man has a thin face and a gentle suit. Haha, in the younger generation, Wen Ziyi, the national teacher of the royal family, came to receive the disciples of Incense Pavilion and Lord Zhu on behalf of my king. Isn't it the person who is most important to King Suan Ling, Wen Ziyi? Why didn't King Suan Ling come? Elder Zhu also asked slightly. Lord Bamboo doesn't know that the Medusa family's offensive has been extremely violent recently. Our Suan Ling royal family has suffered heavy losses in order to resist the attack of the next Medusa family. Therefore, in order to suppress this Medusa's arrogance, my king has already decided to send troops to attack the Medusa family, so I'm also planning a battle plan now. That's why my king didn't come in person, so please forgive me, Lord Zhu. Wen Ziyi also smiled slowly, and put the feather fan back gently. Never mind. Then let's go. Zhu Lao didn't ask too much, and then said, after all, in the grievances between the Medusa family and the Suan Ling royal family, even Elder Zhu would not interfere too much. Everyone, please. Wen Ziyi also made a pleased gesture in front of him, and then smiled. When the three and elder Zhu Lao took the lead in walking, Wen Ziyi also hurriedly followed, but Wen Ziyi's eyes never left Mu Yingying's body. But Wen Ziyi was very obscure and was not discovered by Zhu Lao. Why is this woman's aura somewhat familiar? I don't remember when I met. Wen Ziyi said slowly in his heart, thinking to no avail, and then followed closely. The group of 5 also came out of the resting room, and then appeared in the street. This is the most prosperous street in Suan Ling City, and the entrance to Suan Ling Emperor Pond is at the end of this road. Wen Ziyi also smiled slowly. When Xiaoyan and the others heard the words, they were walking on the bustling street together. This Suan Ling City is really as lively as ever. Elder Zhu also looked at the youthful young man beside him, and his heart was inevitably touched, and then smiled. Lord Zhu doesn't know, this is the place with the most people in Suan Ling City. I'm afraid even the burning incense pavilion where you are located is not as crowded. But the two are not of the same type. The burning incense pavilion you are in, Lord Zhu, focuses on talent cultivation, while our Suan Ling royal family pays more attention to inheriting and guarding this vast territory. Wen Ziyi also said slightly elegantly. Maybe. Old Zhu didn't say anything after he finished speaking. As for Xiaoyan and the others, they also followed old Zhu and didn't say anything. When Wen Ziyi saw this, he didn't speak, and focused on leading the way. After all, there was a long distance between Suan Ling City and the Suan Ling imperial family. Damn incense pavilion. This time, I went specifically to pick up those few people. I didn't expect that I wouldn't be able to return the chicken. A figure with a rather ugly face also slowly stood on the street and said, if I were to meet the people from your burning incense pavilion, I would definitely let out a bad breath. After the man finished speaking, he was also walking around the lively street, but he didn't know that this person was approaching Xiaoyan and the others. This person is the 6th prince, Du He. The reason why Du He presumptuously went to the incense pavilion to pick up the disciples was to increase his chances of being intimate with his father, and secondly, it was also for the future throne. His father, King Suan Ling, had been in this position for 100 years, and it was time to replace him, so Du He was so impatient. But where did Du He think that the strong man in the incense pavilion was like a cloud, and if he went this time, if his father hadn't shot, he would have been terrified of his fate, because Du He also found out forcibly that the one who shot the incense pavilion was the undefeated god of war that want to kill him. But fortunately, with his father's shot, although he was defeated and fled in the end, he could see that his father didn't mean to blame him. But that's how it was. Du He was eager to make contributions. Chapter 334, Play Pig Eat Tiger. Xiaoyan followed behind Zhu Lao and Wen Ziyi. Although there were no ripples in his eyes, Xiaoyan was extremely shocked in his heart. The Suan Ling royal family is located in the middle of Suan 3 days, and it has been attacked the most by the Medusa clan. Moreover, in the depths of Suan Ling City, most of the human beings who took refuge in the Suan Ling royal family, attached to them, and lived in Suan Ling City. As for the Suan Ling royal family, it is also located in the depths of Suan Ling City. Xiaoyan was not idle along the way. The huge soul force was constantly covering him. From the moment he first entered the gate of Suan Ling City, Xiaoyan was doing this. Because according to the guess of his master, the Golden Dragon King, it is very likely that this holy flame is in the royal family of Suan Ling. Exactly where it is unknown. Don't underestimate this Suan Ling City, a big city with a radius of almost 1,000 miles. In addition to the area occupied by the Suan Ling royal family, the area occupied is absolutely terrifying, so if you search blindly, you will undoubtedly be looking for a needle in a haystack. That's why Xiao Yan kept releasing his soul power along the way. Strangeness. This profound spirit city extends in all directions. Although I vaguely sense some extremely powerful and obscure auras, there is no familiar holy flame aura in this profound spirit city. Xiaoyan also shook his head. Holy flame is the same as heavenly fire, they are both inborn things, so the aura of holy flame is similar to that of heavenly fire, so Xiaoyan dared to guess. You're there when you walk in front. Wen Ziyi also smiled slowly, leading the 3 and old Zhu Lao along the way. Naturally, some dramatic things happened in the middle. After all, Wen Ziyi's status in the Suan Ling royal family was second only to King Suan Ling. Immediately, Many people with discerning eyes in Suan Ling city saw that the 3 and Elder Zhu Lao were respectfully led by this Wen Ziyi, and they also showed a look of thinking. But nothing unpleasant happened. Hehe, I'll take care of something, please wait for me, everyone. A young man with a contemplative face also appeared slowly, and then he was a little anxious behind Wen Ziyi. Wen Ziyi also seemed to have found something to deal with, so he was also with Zhu Lao said hello in advance, and then took the young man slowly away from Zhu Lao some distance. The two were talking in a low voice. As for Xiaoyan and the others, they also stood there and waited. It's really bad luck. I was scolded by my father instead of going to Burning Incense Pavilion. Going to find my little lover, he's not here either. It really pissed me off. He also said viciously in the street. Prince, calm down, it's outside, it's indecent. The entourage who accompanied He to the Burning Incense Pavilion also hurriedly said. Now is a great opportunity for these descendants of King Suan Ling to perform, so there must be no blemish at all, otherwise once the right of inheritance is denied by King Suan Ling. I know. It's really annoying. He also said slowly, and then he ignored the follower, thought straight, and walked forward. Isn't that Master Wen Ziyi? Could it be that I am blinded? The attendant also saw a man holding a feather fan not far away, and then slowly murmured. The next moment, the attendant also hurriedly chased after him. Boom! With a slight collision, He only felt that he had hit an indestructible copper wall and an iron wall. And his arm was hit with slight pain. Don't have eyes. Do you know who you bumped into? A domineering roar also slowly came out of He's mouth. He was already angry enough today, but he didn't expect to come out to relax and meet some ignorant people who dared to contradict him. This time, it's a good time to let out the bad anger. He also glanced at the person who hit him, an old man with a thin and yellow face. There was no fluctuation of vindictiveness all over his body, and he looked like a soft persimmon. You hit me, tell me, how to compensate. The next moment, He also thought of something funny. The anger disappeared without a trace, replaced by a smile. Xiaoyan also saw this He just now. He knew that He was a member of the Suan Ling royal family, but he dared to go to their Burning Incense Pavilion to make trouble. This was the first time. Although he failed in the end, Xiaoyan was also knowing that this He is actually the 6th prince of the Suan Ling royal family. This status is a bit incredible. Let rang. The entourage beside He was also rushing to the runway, but more and more people were watching, and He's entourage was also drowned in the sea of people. Cough, cough. Xiaoyan also coughed, and the next moment he wanted to step forward to clear the siege, but he was blocked by old Zhu with a wave of his hand. It's okay. Elder Zhu said lightly. How do you want to pay? Elder Zhu also said slowly. Hehe, I don't want much. Look, you hit me first. My clothes are extremely expensive. Even if you pay 1,000 gold coins. He also said slowly, his voice full of jokes. Isn't this a clear robbery? It's really going downhill. Wait, I think this person is a bit like He, the 6th prince of the Suan Ling royal family. Did you say? A lot of words were also passed around, but it was also obvious that on such a bustling street, as long as there was a little bit of commotion, a large number of people who liked to watch the commotion would gather around. Oh, don't say. It's really He, the 6th prince of the Suan Ling royal family. The onlookers also recognized He and said immediately. Hey, what's going on? Dignified 6th prince, He, was bullying others. Just your clothes are worth 1,000 gold coins. I don't think a gold coin is worth it. In the crowd, a person who is not afraid of the identity of the 6th prince also said. Old man, it's okay, this is a shameless child in front of you. What he said can't be taken as true. The figure who spoke earlier also said slowly. 1,000 gold coins, one more and one less. Otherwise, take it with you to the royal family. He also said angrily. But when He's eyes caught sight of the person who bumped into him, there was a trance deep in his soul, as if the old man had seen it himself. But he couldn't remember where he saw it. After all, in the Burning Incense Pavilion, the distance between old Zhu and He was too far away. With He's eyesight, he naturally couldn't remember what old Zhu looked like, so it was understandable for this situation. A very important reason why He is so angry is that more and more people are watching, and his reputation in this Suan Ling city is not very good. The most important thing is, it was the old man who bumped into him. If this matter were exposed, then he would not be able to eat and walk around, and that was the reason why he hurriedly freed himself. Damn it. This old man is actually... Something's happened now. The area where he passed through the crowd, and then saw Xiaoyan and a few others, but when his eyes caught sight of Zulao, his pupils also shrank violently. Stand up. Chapter 335, Desperate He. You old man, I'll go down the steps for you, don't be ignorant. He also snorted coldly, then said. Although he pretended to be calm, more and more people watched, and he felt guilty. I have hard bones. Zulao also said slowly, but his voice was surprisingly loud, and many people around him heard this Zulao's voice. This sound is... Wenzi, who was not far away, also seemed to have found something, and then suddenly raised his head and looked at the previous location of the old zoo. You go back first, and I will tell you in detail when I finish dealing with the matter here. In addition, we brought those two people to the entrance of the underground palace to wait for us. I hope there won't be any trouble. Wenzi also said to the young man in front of him, and after finishing speaking, he quickly walked towards the place where the old zoo and the others were. Hehe, Master Wenzi is here. There's a good show to watch now. Some people around were also booing, and immediately gave way, and then let Wenzi slowly walk to the middle. This kid knows bad things. When Wenzi saw He for the first time, he said fiercely in his heart. Wenzi walked into the arena. He and Zulao were at the very center, obviously the parties involved, but Wenzi didn't ask anything, he just said to He. Apologize to your elder. An angry voice also roared at He. But it's obviously him. He was also unwilling and hurriedly defended. Isn't that shameful enough? Wenzi also snorted coldly, then stopped looking at He. Turning his head to look at old bamboo in front of him, the original sternness was gone, replaced by a smile on his face. Sir, isn't this kid causing trouble? Wenzi also slowly glared at He, who was beside him, and then said respectfully to old Zhu. I didn't cause trouble, but it just hit me straight, and slandered that I hit him first. Hey, this Suan Ling royal family is really chilling. Zulao also said, and after speaking, he also made a painful expression, which caused many people around to boo and curse He. I've long heard that these 6 princes are ignorant and incompetent all day long, and they bully young girls from a good family. Now they're actually bullying an old man. That's right, I don't know why King Suan Ling condoned such a waste. Many words kept coming out of the crowd of onlookers. Why are you standing still? Kneel down and apologize to the seniors. Wenzi also saw that He didn't mean to act at all, and then opened his mouth and said, Humph. Wenzi, don't think you can point fingers at me, even though you are a national teacher. I don't. He also snorted coldly and said, You brought it on yourself. When Zi also watched more and more people onlookers, and immediately took action. Wenzi's ghost-like movement, and the next moment, he also suddenly appeared behind He, then raised his foot slightly, and kicked He's ankle viciously. With a scream, He didn't even have time to find out what it was like before he knelt down with a pop. It's just a junior, it's just a simple lesson. Let's go. Elder Zhu also said slowly, and then walked towards the depths of Suanling City without looking back. When Xiaoyan and the others heard this, they also secretly admired this old Zhu. The 6th prince, He, obviously went to their burning incense pavilion to try to cause trouble before, and he simply failed. However, on the territory of the Suanling royal family, using their own people to slap their own prince in the face was extremely pleasant. After all, the burning incense pavilion is extremely protective. Xiaoyan and the others also laughed, and then slowly followed. 6th Prince He. Do it yourself. On behalf of the royal family, I am officially warning you that you are not qualified to do anything. Wenzi also said slowly, and then followed. The group of 5 also disappeared from everyone's sight. The rest is that He's eyes showed despair. This time, it seems to have provoked someone who shouldn't be provoked. Because He knows that the Suanling royal family really counts, except for his father, Suanling King, this Wenzi is also hard to chase after a word. If Wenzi said so, then he will lose his qualification to run for the next heir. Lost all escape routes. What are the details of the 4 of them, and how could this Master Wen Ziyi treat them like this? Some sharp-eyed people also noticed the attitude of the Master Wen Ziyi towards the 4 people, and immediately became contemplative. When the matter was over, the onlookers also dispersed one after another, leaving only Du He and the entourage standing there blankly. I'm not reconciled. Du He also shouted in the sky, and then said blankly. Wen Ziyi's words undoubtedly put Du He into the cold palace. In the future, the Suan Ling royal family will not reward him with any resources, or he is not qualified to participate in any other matters. In this case, this Du He is also a prince in name only. 6th Prince, let's go. This matter needs to be discussed in the long run. The attendant also pondered. Let's go. Du He also knew that this was not a place for discussion, so he also left here and headed for his residence. Haha, I made a few people laugh. Wen Ziyi also apologized to Old Zhu. After all, the character and status of the 6th prince were really not very good, and if they were discarded, they would be discarded. It's alright, let's do the big thing first. Elder Zhu also said. The 5 people walked on the street, slowly heading towards the depths of Suanling City. By the way, I heard that there will be a large-scale auction organized in Suanling City in a few months. Zhu Lao also seemed to remember something and then said. Hehe, if Elder is interested, you can come and participate at that time. There will be a lot of strange things in this auction. Wen Ziyi also laughed. Hehe, I'll definitely go there then. By the way, bring these little guys to see the world. Zhu Lao said slowly, and then he no longer hesitated, and walked out first. Auction. Xiao Yan's eyes also murmured and became extremely hot. If even a strong man like this old Zhu Lao is interested in an auction, then the auction items are extremely precious. The alchemist said that the most fertile profession, not to mention a high-level alchemist like Xiao Yan, it is no exaggeration. There is still more than a month before the auction. At this time, you should soak the Suanling Emperor pond properly. Elder Zhu also said. What Elder said is very true. Everyone, please come with me. Wen Ziyi also agreed, and the next moment, Wen Ziyi also led a few people towards a very dazzling place, where the guards are extremely tight. There are hundreds of soldiers guarding it, and there are some powerful people sitting in the town. Looking up, there seemed to be some extremely attractive large characters standing slowly.
Hi. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get updated on my latest video. Thank you for watching.